Good evening, this is Houston Bennett with our Java 1 Week 4, a connected application walkthrough video. So to begin, I will show you that everything does work the way it's supposed to. I have already had it running. Let's just go like that. And see there, pops everything in there. So, as you see, it does work. Uh, Here at the beginning, the application can connect to an API endpoint using a dynamic URL string that changes based on user text input that is properly encoded. As you see there, it takes the user input and does return some data there. But here I can show you that it takes the input, uses that variable to build the API calls URL. That URL is then passed into the async task execute here, which is actually over here. I've made a separate class for it, just for to make things a little more difficult on myself. Actually, turned out that that probably wasn't the best idea, but it worked out in the end. So let's see the next little bit here, just to show you that it does change things depending on what you put in there. Boom. The async task performs all network operations in a background thread. That's the doInBackground method there. The resulting data is passed to the appropriate callback method that I believe is here, the onPostExecute, which actually takes the JSON array that is returned from that API call, loops through it one by one, building instances of a game info class, which is just holds the game's name and price, and each one of those is then passed back through a delegate to the main activity, which then adds the new games to the list. Which this is not a list view or anything advanced like that. As you see here, it's just a text view. I didn't want to make things any more complicated because of the issues I had earlier with this project. Let's see, the appropriate callbacks are used to show the indeterminate progress indicator. That's that right there, the indeterminate progress indicator. And it does go away when it's finished. Looks like it didn't actually find anything at all for EverQuest. That kind of bums me out. But there you go. That is here in the task helper. It gets created. The dialog gets created here when task helper gets created. Pre-execute happens before the doInBackground, so it actually pops up that dialog box before it actually starts to gather that data, and then as soon as it's done with the for loop here, it gets dismissed. So that's how that works. The application checks for network connection before each network request. I built that into the button press. It is not in its own custom network connectivity class, so there's only 75% there. But it does check. If we make the manager, we get the network info, we make sure that it is connected before sending off before calling the helper task, or the async task. And the application parses and displays 2 or more data points from multiple JSON objects or JSON array entries. It gathers 10 of them from the URL and does appropriately parse 2 points of data, the name and the game. Let's see, we'll go back to Half-Life. See, the name and the game get placed into that text box. And again, it is not an advanced view. It is simply just a text view that gets loaded up and formatted with the line breaks. Everything is structured efficiently, I think, and of course it does use the proper methods and constructs, otherwise it wouldn't work. So I do believe that wraps us up for this video and for the month. Thank you very much, and have a good night.